Hey everybody, it's Connor Brady, and I'm back with another album tier list video. This time I'll be ranking albums from my second favorite band in the whole entire world, Gojira. Uh, Before we get started with this video, I have to say a few things. First off, Gojira's second album, The Link, just turned 20 years old a few days ago. And to kind of celebrate, I'm making this video. And speaking of Gojira, I made an essay on Gojira uh, a few months ago for my English project, and I'm gonna leave that in the description below so that you guys can check it out. But the essay has to do with or has the history of Gojira in it. So like the demos that are like right here. Also, I think this unreleased, this released single and this unreleased record, I don't remember. Uh, but there's the history, and also I say my top three or more favorite songs from each record, and it's I believe the diehard Gojira fans would probably love it. Also, just saying, the citations that I used for for that essay is sadly Wikipedia, but most of the stuff I got from other videos and just from like common knowledge because I'm such a big fan of this band. Although I had to jog my memory with something, and I couldn't really find a website to or that has the right information for a type of project like that. If you guys find anything like that, I know Slipknot has one. It's called a like Slipknot Wiki or something like that, or SlipknotHistory.com. That's what it was because the House of Masks uses it. But if there's a Gojira one out there, you guys could send it to me. That would be greatly appreciated because I would actually kind of like to fact check my essay. But yeah. And then the last thing is that these two albums right here, before I put them in no, but I was supposed to do it right now. I'm gonna put them in the unknown section because I have no idea what these are about. I assume these are two demos or unreleased songs, but I just have no idea what those are about. But anyways, let's get these demos and records and unreleased records and singles ranked. Alright, so the first demo or album that we're going to be looking at is Possessed by Gojira, or what it was back then, Godzilla. This demo I'm going to put in D tier because it's not nearly as memorable as this demo right here, which I'll get to later. The songs are way different from what Gojira has done, especially now up to here. But this is obviously a demo. There are going to be changes. There are going to be genre changes, and it's more of an experimental period to try to get the refined sound for the band. And I think that's what that was happening over here. You could definitely hear the tech death influence from like 90s and 80s and late 80s tech death bands, but it's just like kind of a far cry from where Gojira is now. But moving on to this demo, I'm going to put it in C tier because there are literally some songs from Terra Incognita, which I'll also get to later, that are on this demo. Specifically, On the Brink of the Abyss, Love, Clone, and I believe Lizard Skin's on there as well. Also, there's a song called Saturate on there as well. This demo is basically Terra Incognita. I mean, there's songs on there that are from Terra Incognita, like I said before, so it's gonna be better than this. But yeah, that's pretty much what those rankings are. So now we're gonna move on to the debut record of what is now Gojira, which is Terra Incognita. So now we're gonna move on to the Link, or not the Link, sorry, Terra Incognita, which is the debut album of Gojira. And I'm going to put it in A tier because this album is actually pretty good. It's the basis for what's to come later, and some of the songs from Saturate, which I also made a mistake. It's actually Deliverance instead of Lizard Skin that was appeared on this. I did a video of the demo for Deliverance, and now I remember. But anyways, some songs on here that are my favorites from Terra Incognita are Deliverance, Lizard Skin, Clone, In the Forest, Space Time, excuse me, sorry, I think it's a Clone already, and Love. Those are some really good songs off of that record, honestly, and the quality of the record is pretty good. It kind of gets overshadowed by other records, especially I've seen like lists of the top 10 or the top 50 best records of like 2001 or something like that, and like Iowa comes on top, and this is like 18 at 18. But this is basically, like I said before, this is the basis for what Gojira is to come. And now we're gonna move on to Gojira's second record, Link. Alright, so next up we're gonna be ranking Gojira's second record, and the one that turned 20 a few days ago, The Link Alive, which I'm gonna put in B tier. I was gonna put it in A tier before I made this video, and I was making the script for this video, but I, said no, it's going in B tier because of one major issue with this record, and that's the mix on the record, and it sounds completely trash, and that's what other people say. And for the longest time I defended The Link because I thought it was more about the songs instead of the actual mix that was on the record. But now that I see it, it's actually like, it's pretty bad in my opinion. It's not good at all. So I do agree with it, but I still believe the songs are really good. I mean, from time to time I'll go back to this record, and the compositions are just flat out amazing. It's something like Terra Incognita would have. But the songs that I like that are from this record are Remembrance, which is probably one of the greatest Gojira songs, period. It's just so good, and I recommend anybody that's getting into Gojira to not listen to Magma or to Fortitude, but instead listen to Remembrance, but specifically the live version, because it's got better quality, obviously. Death of Me, when they were on the Alive tour, they had a transition between Remembrance and Death of Me. It sounded really good, and also the breakdown at the end for both Remembrance and Death of Me is just amazing. Indians, it's honestly like a classic from Gojira. It's pretty good, honestly. The riff is kind of got a swing feel to it in the beginning of the song, and it's just overall a great composition. And last, Listen Comes, which actually was written with Indians before The Link came out, which I actually put in my essay. But it's just complete aggression. It's got blast beats, it's got fast double bass, it's got this really weird lead stuff that's harmonized, and it just sounds really good overall. So that's my ranking for this record. But now we'll go on to the unreleased record. Pardon my pronunciation. I think it's Maciste All'Inferno. I might have gotten that wrong, but we're gonna rank that next. What we're gonna be looking at is Maciste All'Inferno. I know, like I said before, the last segment with The Link, part of my pronunciation with this unreleased record, but I'm gonna put it in. Oh crap! I'm gonna put it in A tier. The quality of this record is better, but it's actually the same mix for the Link Alive tour, because you can hear the bass drum sound the same, the guitar tones are basically the same, and the bass is way clear. Also, the songs are just amazing. The title of the album follows by the number 1 through I think 15, and all the songs are mostly instrumentals, but there's one song I think it's Maciste 8, and the song is called Inferno Now, which was released in 2020 on YouTube. It's not released on Spotify or anything like that, but they actually revamped it to make it a little bit shorter. It's like 4 minutes long. I did a cover on YouTube, but it's a really good song. The first and third one and the second one for this record is also really good. They have a nice swing feel to it, and also just with the second one, it's more melodic. It's a decent record, honestly. I would prefer listening to this record than The Link, even though The Link is honestly a good record, but it just sounds really good. Also, fun fact, I did also put this in my Gojira essay, but this was based off of a movie that was released in 1929 entitled the same name. It was when they were in Bordeaux, France, when the DVD for the Link Alive was recorded. They had that movie playing in the background while they were playing this. So they basically, I think, improvised a little bit when they were playing this. But moving on to one of the best Gojira records ever, from Mars to Sirius. So the next record that we're going to be looking at is From Mars to Sirius, and everybody's going to say this, S tier. No matter what, this is the quintessential Gojira record, besides The Way of All Flesh, which we'll get to later. It is, like, it's really good. All the songs are equally good, and honestly, like, this is a record that I would listen to fully, and, like, fully play through the whole entire record. And this was one that I was considering getting for in vinyl, but sadly I can't really because nobody sells it. But some songs that I like are In the Wilderness, which I believe is one of the most underrated Gojira songs ever. Unicorn, it's a nice instrumental. I like the calm tone of the song, and it kind of, like, you know, brings you to the other song, and also kind of cools you down after what was before it, which was From the Sky, which I don't really like. Flying Whales, it's a classic. Ocean Planet, World to Come, The Heaviest Matter of the Universe, which is so good. I actually did a meme about that. And Backbone, another Gojira classic. This album has also Global Warming, which amazing song as well. This album would kind of put Gojira in a more melodic tone, if you kind of think about it, because, like, with Ocean Planet, World to Come, I guess Flying Whales, Global Warming, and In the Wilderness, you know, these, and also The Heaviest Matter of the Universe. Some of them have melodic parts in it, and it's kind of that's kind of where Gojira shaped into more of a heavier side, but also more of a melodic side as well. And I find that really surprising, and also it works very well. But now we are going to move on to basically my favorite Gojira album, The Way of All Flesh. Alright, so the next record that we're going to be looking at today is one of my favorites. It's Gojira's, fourth record, sorry about that, The Way of All Flesh. And honestly, this record is pretty good, honestly. I would prefer listening to this over anything else, honestly. This is when Gojira started to do drop C and what I like to call the Art of Dying tuning, because it basically grabs C standard, the last three strings, which is C, G, and D flat, or D sharp, I believe, and puts them with the drop C tuning, and it's most common in the Art of Dying, as well as The Way of All Flesh, which is the title track and the last track of the record. But they started to do a lot of stuff, and you can hear it with a lot of the songs, and it sounds really good, and it's a great addition to the Gojira tunings. But the songs that I really like from this record are The Way of All Flesh, Vacuity, Yama's Messenger, which is a very, very good deep cut from this record. Honestly, it should be played live, in my opinion. It's really down to earth and very heavy. It's just a masterpiece. Toxic Garbage Island, just another Gojira classic. The Silver Chord, it's a nice interlude that kind of puts you to, I think, all the tears, which is not really my favorite Gojira song, but it's a nice interlude that kind of graduates, or gets you to to move you towards that next song. The Art of Dying, A Sight to Behold, Adoration for None, which features Lamb of God singer Randy Blythe, which is another band that I've actually been listening to a little bit more often now, and I believe that's it, actually. But there are so many good songs off of this record, and, I believe this should be listened to way more, because a lot of people rank this down at, like, C tier, honestly. And people say it's because of the deep cuts, and I'm like, the reason why they're deep cuts is because not a lot of people like them, but I believe they're really good. honestly. I mean, there's some of them that are like kind of bad, but like I mean, for example, Yama's Messenger is really good, and also The Way of All Flesh, which is also another deep cut, is really good as well. But next up, we're gonna move on to the single, which I'll actually do right now, Blood and Salt, which will go to A tier. This was a collaboration with Sea Shepherd, which I believe is Devin Townsend, Meshuggah, and Gojira. And this song is really good, and it should be released not just on YouTube, because a lot of people have gotten this, and you know, it's kind of circulated between different channels. But it should be released on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, and stuff like that, because I believe this is a worthy Gojira song, honestly, in my opinion. But you know, it was a part of a record that sadly was kind of lost because the technology kind of got screwed up. I believe that's what the story was about. But also, Gojira wasn't able to really finish the record because they moved on to what is now Sauvage, which we'll rank next. Alright, so next up we're going to be ranking Gojira's 5th record, Sauvage. I'm going to put it in A tier because it's actually a pretty good record. This record had to grow on me a little bit, but when I got it on vinyl, it sounded really good, and I liked a lot of the songs that are on here. For example, The Gift of Guilt, Plan Obsolence, Explosia, not the Wild here, The Axe, Born in Winter, Liquid Fire, Sauvage, and that's pretty much it. But there are a lot of good songs on this record. Planned Obsolence is probably the best song off of this record. That with the Wild Healer was actually that was played live during the Sauvage tour, but was cut for something like I don't know. Probably The Gift of Guilt, because it was like early into the tour, and then they just stopped playing it. Maybe it was a little bit too hard because there's a lot of blast beats in the song, a lot of intricate parts. But next up, we're going to rank, probably, in my opinion, one of the worst Gojira records, Magma. Alright, so we're going to be re-ranking Magma, and I'm going to put it in F. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I do not like this record one bit. It's not like Sauvage, where yes, it took me a little bit for it to grow on me, and there are some good songs on it, but it's just not like that. The songs that are more towards the formula for Gojira are just not good. Silvera and Stranded are the 2 singles that were off this record, and also I believe The Shooting Star. They're not good. I'll do admit, Pray is actually a pretty good song. The beat in the beginning of the song is actually pretty intricate, and I actually like it. But this is when Gojira started to go more, I guess, radio rock, in my opinion. It was kind of just a step down, and, you know, it just didn't sound good at all. But, next we're going to be ranking Gojira's final record, not the final record of their career, obviously, but the final record on this tier list, which is Fortitude. Alright, so next up I'm going to be ranking Gojira's final record, and also the final record for this tier list, Fortitude, and I'm going to put it in the C tier. It's a step up from Magma, but it's still just an okay record, in my opinion. Some good songs that are off of this record that I like are Amazonia, Born for One Thing, Grinds. The beat in that is pretty good, honestly. Sphinx, and I think that's pretty much it. But this record is just okay, in my opinion. I think Joe just kind of lost his voice with this record. He doesn't really do his pitch screams or just his screams in general anymore. But that, you know, that's okay. I mean, every singer has this has this point where it's just it's not like the old Terra Incognita or The Way of All Flesh kind of screams, but you know. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to make your own tier lists, the link to this tier list will be in the description below, and also just a reminder, the link to the Gojira essay will be in the bottom as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this upload, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.